Thesis-driven writing begins with the main idea or statement of opinion. Think of it as a mini argument. You state your position and then follow it up with details or explanation of why your point is true. For this demonstration, I am going to use a lesson we've used with essential understanding number 6. History is subjective. I'm going to use part of the bolded lines at the top for my thesis, although you may select a line from further down. History told from an Indian perspective frequently conflicts with the stories mainstream historians tell. This is going to be my thesis or main argument. Now, I want to use details from the readings to support this idea. The readings I can select from include pieces of the Old Montana History book, in particular the timeline, and the Crow Tribal History from the Tribal History Project. I want to show how the mainstream account from the history book conflicts with the Crow account from their Tribal History Project. After I look carefully at these two bits of information, I put them in my own words as a way of completing the argument I started with the thesis. So I'm in particular looking at modern Indian migration to Montana 400 to 500 years ago, and this line that archaeological evidence indicates Crow presence in Montana as early as 1150. So my paragraph starts with the thesis. History told from an Indian perspective frequently conflicts with the stories mainstream historians tell. In some cases, the conflict is about something as basic as archaeology. For example, the Montana history book called Discovering Tomorrow Through Yesterday reports that modern Indians came to Montana as recently as 400 years ago. This information conflicts directly with the dates provided by the Crow Tribal History Project, which states, quote, archaeological evidence indicates Crow presence in Montana as early as AD 1150, end quote. The disagreement between mainstream history and the Indian perspective is clear in this example. It's just one paragraph. Now with the colors, you can see the red is the thesis statement, the black is a transition between the thesis and the details, the blue is all details, and you notice that where I copied from the Crow Tribal History Project, I used quotation marks, and the green is a concluding sentence that restates the main idea. For this assignment, you will select a sentence from Essential Understanding number 3 about how culture persists as your thesis. You may change the wording slightly if necessary, but be sure not to alter the meaning. And your reading selection for your details is the article you read, Steeped in Symbolism, about the Payne Family Native American Center at the University of Montana.